Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to make something super magical inside Figma. The first design we'll be making is this little circle following the mouse and the color behind the circle of the text or of the background changing as we scroll through. Also, we will be working on this really cool effect that I've seen being used on Google's websites, on a lot of different popular websites. I'm going to call this Quicksand. These literal lines are caving in to wherever the mouse is going. So basically a great tool for backgrounds, for things that follow your mouse, etc. are gonna be amazing when you implement them into your prototypes. This will take us less than 10 minutes. So without further ado, let's just get started with the video. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do is actually make our artboard. So I've already prepared two artboards. There is this one, the circle follows you everywhere kind of artboard, and this effect is called Quicksand artboard. I'll be sharing this Figma file so that you can just pick it up and try it for yourself. So let's first create the circle follows you everywhere effect. So to begin with, we are going to go to this website called spline.design. You can search it on Google or you can just type it in your browser. First thing we're going to do is say a new file. We're going to create a new project here. And Spline again is free of cost. So don't worry about the cost or anything. You can just get started on your browser. You don't even have to download anything. So here what we have to do is create the circle which will follow you Now you can experiment with the shapes, you can create a 3D object, you can do whatever you like here, as long as it suits the mouse, as long as it doesn't cause a distraction. So for this one, I'm of course gonna change this to a white, of course. I can change this to any color that you like, but white for now suits the best. So basically you can see what size it is as compared to your mouse here, as you can see on screen. So if the mouse is half of this, then it's fine. If it's extremely big, then the mouse will look a little off. So I think this big is enough for now. Now what I'm going to do is on the side, there's something called events. Now under events, there's something called type. I'll click on type. There's a drop down that comes up. I'm going to say follow. So follow will essentially follow your mouse everywhere it goes. So if I press play, as you can see, it follows me everywhere it goes. The thing about this is that you can even add other events alongside it. So if I want to add, say, when I click, there should be a certain effect. So states allows you to change your state to any state you like. So in state 1, I will change the color of this circle to say a teal or a turquoise, whatever you want to call this. I'd say it's a little more like a light sky blue. And I can go back to my base state, and as you can see, it's changed. Every time I click on this ellipse, there should be the state should change to state 1. So if I click on play here, and if I click on the circle, as you can see, the color changes to blue. Now there is a little bit of a bug here as to whenever I click on this circle, it kind of moves up a little bit. I'm not sure why this bug is being caused, but when I was trying it, it was okay. So it might be okay on your end. So of course, you can experiment with the states and everything. For now, I'm just going to keep it as it is. All right, so now this is ready. And as you can see, there's a slight delay in the follow as well, which looks good. Actually, it should be that way because it gives it that following effect. If I want to bring it to Figma, there's a simple trick to it. If I click on export, and public URL is selected, make sure that is there. Rotate, no, everything should be no. If you have Spline Premium, you'll be able to hide it. For now, I'm just going to keep it as show, and I'm going to say export. As you can see, there's this thing called doing the magic, which means it's working on it. Now, once this comes up, you can use embed right here. I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to go back to my Figma file right there. Now, right inside Figma, all I need to do is make sure I have this rectangle ready, and I paste another rectangle right inside here. Now this rectangle is where the circle can flow. So wherever the rectangle is going, the circle will be there. You can either place it behind the text and everything or above. I suggest above, especially for areas where there's no button or anything. Then I will click on Command P or Control P to bring up the menu here, and I'm going to search for Anima. Now once I've searched for Anima, I click on it. You'll have to probably log in or sign up. For me, it's okay. Now inside here, there's something called embed code. All I need to do is just embed the code right here, and I don't need to change anything here. So no coding knowledge required. Save, and that's about it. Now I can remove this gray by reducing the opacity of the gray color on the right under fill to 0% to give it the effect where it changes the color of the background or it changes with the color of the background. Under layer, there's something called pass through. I'm going to change the pass through to something called exclusion or difference. It basically gives a similar result. And that's about it. So now if I play this using Anima, of course, I'll say preview in browser and it immediately opens a preview right here. It doesn't even take time to load. And as you can see, this circle follows me everywhere, a little bit of a delay, which is nice, along with changing the color of everything in the background, be it an illustration, an icon, a button, logo, whatever it is. And it looks really, really good. And it adds a little bit of a flair or an interactive element on the screen right here. And now let's move on to the next effect, which is my favorite, called the Quicksand effect. And I'm going to click on another new project so that I can make another new project. Inside here, I will delete everything on this screen. And for reference, for now, I'm going to create a little rectangle by clicking on this rectangle on top, just so that I can see where the Quicksand is or where the text might be placed. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the plus sign here. And I'm going to select the cube. We're not going to create a cube, don't worry. You can hold Alt or Option on your keyboard and just drag around to see the thickness of this. Of course, the thickness doesn't matter too much here. I'm also going to change the color to a nice jet blue. I don't know why I call it a jet blue. It's more like a rich blue, which I think is really cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this at a certain angle. If I hold this green circle right here, which turns to yellow now, and just drag out like this, as you can see, all I need to do is make sure that it's around 90 degrees rotated towards you in that case. So if I now view it from the front angle, as you can see, it is almost flat. So now before you do anything, this is a mistake I made, so make sure you don't make this mistake. Do not duplicate this until you've made this next setting. On the right, there's something called events. Again, you click on it, and there's something called look at. So if you've made the rectangle properly, it will look in the right direction where your mouse is going. So just to test this out, I'm going to click on play. And as you can see, it does follow your mouse around a little bit. All the rotations are set to these weird -180, -87. That is not what we need. So we'll change all the rotations to a 0. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make the rectangle in such a way that it is facing us without having to rotate it at all. So that's a mistake we made, and we're going to fix it. If I hold this little ball here and I drag out, it will now become a longer sort of a cuboidal shape, which I really like. Now if I go back, I reset here by clicking reset, and I play this. As you can see, this is perfectly viewing your mouse here. All I need to do now is make sure it's placed properly, duplicate this by saying Command D or Control D, and just keep on dragging it out left or right so that it's placed in one line or one row here. Now yes, duplication can get a little tedious. So once you say place 3 of these, hold shift, select all 3, right click and say group selection. So you will basically be able to duplicate this group now and drag the group collectively. This makes your life much easier and faster. Now once this is done, what I did was just select all of these groups, right click and group these as well. Don't worry, the grouping is not going to break your animations or your interactions in any way possible. So depending on how much area you have, you can place 3 or 2 columns as much as you like. I will also give space in between for the text and then drag around like this. Now once this is done, you can quickly press play to test it out, and as you can see, it is now working perfectly. And since your mouse is at a different distance from all these cuboids, they'll view the mouse from a slightly different angle, and the lighting will also be slightly different. The best part about this tool is that you can change the lighting, the 3D aspect of everything, but for now I'm just keeping it basic. If you know how to, if you create something advanced, make sure you tag me on Instagram at Punit Chawla Official or on LinkedIn or Twitter. All of these handles, I do respond and see your work. So now once this is done, all you need to do is remove the background. Make sure that there is a transparent background. For that, you will have to reduce the frame. If you have nothing selected on the right, there's something called frame. Under frame, the opacity should be not 100, but 0. And as you can see, we now have a transparent background. If you want a transparent background for anything, this is how it goes. Set everything to no for this one because there's no need for it. And I'm going to go ahead and export this. Once this is done, you can always Click on the embed, copy it, say OK, go back to Figma. Inside Figma, we're going to repeat the exact same steps for the first effect, which is just hold the rectangle, create a rectangle which covers the entire size of this. Inside this, I'm going to bring up Anima once again. Thankfully, Anima is so quick to use, doesn't load anything, it opens up fast. And inside this, I'm going to say embed code again and paste my code. Now here you can see two properties called 100% width, 100% height. If by chance your rectangles are not big enough or there's not enough space around your text, you can always adjust this from 100% to 200 and so on and so forth. So depending on the size of your frame, size of your text, etc., you can adjust this properly here. So I'll click on save. Remove everything here, make sure that this gray is either above everything or below, depends on you. And I'm going to reduce the opacity of the fill to 0%. If I play this in Anima, go back to Anima, and I'm just going to quickly click on preview in browser. That takes half a second and it opens a little window here in Figma itself. And it might take a few seconds, but it loads properly, and look at that amazing, fantastic effect. Of course, you can make this a more flat looking lines as well. I've seen those flat looking lines on a lot of websites. So you can do a flat line if you reduce the width or the girth of these cuboids, so as to say. But I hope you really liked this video. I loved creating this effect for you guys in Figma and Spline. To watch more Spline related interactions and tutorials in Figma and Spline, I will give some links in the description as well as something on the screen on top of my face. I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure to thumbs up. That supports the channel a lot, as well as subscribe to the channel. Sharing is caring. So if you create something like this, make sure you share or just share the video in your groups or with your friends. I'll see you next time, same place, same time, every Monday and Thursday. Until next time, take care. God bless.